Hi, everybody. Did you know that sometimes the easiest way to copy a resource from your desktop is to just snip it? So you have a tool on your Windows computer known as the Snipping Tool. And so what the Snipping Tool does is it allows you to take all or part of a screenshot and then save it as an image. And you could even mark it up. So the example that I'm going to show you how to do that, is we're going to use an example of you wanting to send a recipe to a friend, but you don't want to send the whole page. You just want to send a piece of that recipe. All right. So the perfect tool in this case would be the snipping tool. Okay. So to get to the snipping tool, what I'm going to do is, since we're talking about sending it to a friend, I have my email. I'm going to compose an email. So here's my email, and I'm going to send this recipe to Ashley. Spell it buñuelos. So this is a traditional Mexican Christmas pastry. Okay, so I'm going to send her the recipe for buñuelos. Now, what I'm also going to do is the snipping tool. You can actually put the snip or the image into anything, and you'll see in a little bit. So I have a Google Doc open just to kind of demonstrate that too. Okay, so let's get started. So I had already ahead of time pulled up the recipe. So here's the recipe, how to make buñuelos. So what I'm going to do, the easiest way to get to it, if you're used to using shortcuts, is to hold down the Shift key, the Windows key, and the S. So three keys you're going to have to hold down at the same time: Shift, Windows, and S. Okay, and so what that does is it made the screen a little white. So it kind of whited it out, and then it gave me this crosshairs. Okay, so what we're going to do is, with the crosshairs, we're going to hold down. So we have to have a mouse, and if you only have your touchpad on your laptop, you would have to use two fingers to hold, like left click and hold your left button, and then drag your mouse or drag another finger across your touchpad. And then when you let go with your left finger, right, with the left button, it's gonna copy the image to your clipboard. Okay, so to demonstrate, so what I'm doing is I have two fingers on my touchpad right now. So right now I'm using my left hand's index finger, and I'm going to start the box right here. So I'm going to hold down with my left finger, and if you're on a mouse, you would hold down the left button. Okay, so now with my right index finger, I'm just moving down the screen, and I see this red box. And as I move down the screen, I'm going to frame around the recipe. Okay, and if you're with your mouse, you would just keep holding down the left button on your mouse, and then just move your mouse down to the right and down. Okay, so when we're done framing whatever it is that we want to snip, right, to make a copy of, you just let go of your left index finger or let go of the left button on your mouse. Okay, and it looks like it didn't do anything. The screen went back to its regular color, and then that's it. No noises, nothing else. So it looks like it didn't do anything. But if I go back to my email, and my cursor is, where I would compose the message. So here's the okay. So here's my message, and then so now where my cursor is blinking, I'm gonna hold down the Control and V to paste the image. Okay, I give it a couple of seconds, and here's that snipped image. Okay, so then now I could send the email, and she has the recipe, an image of the recipe. And again, I'm going to go to my Google Doc. So in here, wherever my cursor is, if I do Control V, the image gets placed in here. And if the image is too big, I see the little selector. So from here, I can resize it, or do other, fancy things like that with the image itself. Okay, so now, what if we wanted to do more than just paste this image? Let's say we wanted to, underline important things or highlight or do some kind of marking up. Okay, well, with Snipping Tool, we have the ability to do that as well. But instead of doing the Shift Window S shortcuts, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start the Snipping Tool itself. Okay, so to do that, down here at the bottom, click on the search, which is this white circle at the bottom left of your screen. Okay, so when you click on it, you get this search field. Start typing in Snipping Tool, and you'll see it pop up right here, Snipping Tool. So you click on it, and then it launches the actual Snipping Tool. So this is different than the shortcut. What I do is I have, and I'm going to close this just to kind of show you, I have Snipping Tool down here on my bar, my menu down here, because I use it a lot. So to get it to show up here permanently, where you can just click it instead of having to go to the circle, the start, and then look for it, here's what you can do to put it down here. Go back into the search field, pull the tool back up, launch it by clicking on it, and then when it shows up at the bottom, what you're going to want to do is right click. So on your mouse, right click on your mouse. If you're on your touchpad, 2 fingers on the touchpad at the same time, and then you get this option right here. Mine says unpin because it's already pinned, but what you're going to want to do is right click or 2 fingers on your touchpad and then push this pin that says pin to taskbar. Click on that, and then so now whenever down here at the bottom, you'll see the little Snipping Tool icon. Okay, so that's something that's really useful for me. Okay, so I'm going to click on it, and here are our Snipping tools. So I'm going to go back again to my recipe. I'm going to click on the Snipping Tool down here so that way it brings it up to the front. Okay, so here it is. So now here, if I want to make a new snip, I can just click on this. Okay, and now it does the white background again, and I get the crosshairs, and I do the same thing. I can hold down with my left button, drag my mouse, or if I'm on my touchpad, hold down with 1 finger and then put another finger and make the square. And then as soon as I let go, this is a little different because now on the screen I can see exactly what was snipped. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little blue dot. I'm going to try to move it. It's on the top left. So what that little blue dot is a pin. So right now in this blue box that I'm moving my cursor over is a pin. And I could actually, if I hold down the left button and move my cursor, I can circle things, and it's blue. So if I wanted a different color, I just drop down and select another color. Okay, so I can do this. And if you have a touch screen laptop, this is a lot easier to do. Okay, so you can do things like that. Here's a highlighter. So if you wanted to highlight certain things, you can do that. If you make a mistake, you can erase. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this again. And then here, we can do a couple of it. If we wanted to save this image for later, well, here's the little save icon. So I just click on it, I give it another name, and then I save it wherever I need to. If I want to copy it, even though right now it's already in my clipboard, and I can just paste it somewhere else. But usually after you mark it, you're going to want to copy it again, because then it's going to copy it with these marks. Okay, so I'm going to hit copy. And then so for example, if I was ready to send this, let me delete this old one. And now I'm just going to do Control V. Here's a new image and it's marked. Okay, and it works the same way in our Google Doc. And the new image gets inserted. Here it goes. A little bit. Okay, so here's our new image with the marks. And then the other thing we could do with this is if we wanted to get even more fancy, like let's say these tools aren't enough for what we were wanting to do, the pen and the highlighter. Well, if you click this little teardrop shaped, you can actually open up the Paint 3D software in your program. It imports the snipped image And then here you can add 2D shapes, 3D shapes if you wanted to get really fancy. I mean, there's not much, much of a choice, but you could do that if you wanted to. Okay, so here's a sphere. You could add stickers. Maybe I'll add tongue. And then you could, reshape it. So you can add stickers like that. You can add your own text. You can add some effects. And this is the canvas, so you can make it bigger. And then you can do all these other things, right? So then from here, you can save it. Okay, transparent. Yeah, you can do other things up here. You can resize it. You can flip it. And you could get very fancy with the tool if you wanted to do that. So then all you have to do now is, save it, and then you could insert it into another image, right? Or not into another image, but into another file if you wanted to email it, with other things like these stickers and all this other fancy stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'll save it. So then give it a name. All right, so now do you want to save? So you can save this image as well. I'm going to put no. So then if you wanted to insert now the image, that new one that had all the fancy stuff, you just go to image and then upload from your computer. Look for that file that you just created, and then it'll insert it in here. And the same with the email. You just have to go into your drive, or you could insert a link or attach it depending on wherever it is that you saved your file. Okay, so that was the snipping tool. So just really quick again to kind of show you what we were doing. So once you have whatever it is you want to snip, the fast way shortcut is Shift, Window. Okay, the window key is at the very bottom row of your keypad to the left of the spacebar. So it's Shift, Window, S. Give it a couple of seconds. So here you could snip really fast. As soon as you let go, it goes into your clipboard, and then the next thing you do is go wherever it is that you want to paste the image, Control V, and then the snip gets added. Okay. And then the other way is if you have your snipping tool down here at the bottom, just click on it. You get all of this. Oh, and the other things that I didn't even talk about, it'll default to a rectangle snip, right? So in other words, whenever I I'm going to start my snip. I hit new. Whenever I want to snip, it does a rectangle shape like this. But what if I wanted a different shape? Well, you could do, okay, I'm hitting no. You can drop this down from a rectangle. Click that. Now you can do a freeform snip. You can snip a window, or you can do the full screen. Okay, so you have different choices. So if you do the freeform snip, here you can actually, do something like this. It doesn't have to be a rectangle. And as soon as you connect the red lines together and you let go, now you have a snip of just that, what you selected. Okay, and then now you could mark things up, or if that's all you needed, then you can just, put your cursor wherever, Control V, and it pastes that snip. So this is the snipping tool. I hope you get a lot of use out of it.